flying around.
And him right here on the bench.
Coraline, look. These are dragons. Look at them. They got pink wings.
And here's him.
Once upon a time, there lived a family of dragons. They were a horrible bunch of beasts who traveled about from country to country,
And there was a baby
stirring up
one.
trouble wherever they went. One day on a trip to some faraway land, the dragon family flew into a dense fog. The Droopus. The youngest of the dragons lost track of the others. Oh, that must be Droopus. Okay. I read that wrong. Okay. So Droopus. Droopus must be lost. Okay. Droopus kept circling about the endless gray cloud. Gotta move your head. I can't read your head. Droopus kept circling about the endless gray clouds, calling and calling in a squeaky small voice, until at last he was too weary to flap his wings. Oh, he crashed before he crashed.
Uh-oh.
Look, crashed right into a den.
Craig, I'm taking a video, buddy.
Then the little dragon gave up and went gliding down to a land on a mountainside
Then you
and
gotta
crawled
go
into
over
a
there.
cave where it curled up in the corner to sleep for the night. Oh, and then he found spiders. Droopus woke the next morning feeling very lonely and ever so hungry. So he left the cave to find something for breakfast. Droopus was just 4 years old, and at that age, dragons feed on small things, like grasshoppers and beetles. As he was searching the tall grass in the cave, he came across a grasshopper, struggling helplessly in a spider web. Oh, he tried to help him. See, he was struggling and the spider was going to get him. The spider was all set to pounce when suddenly Droopus snatched that grasshopper out of the web. For a long while, Droopus held the grasshopper by one leg, wondering what to do. How could he eat someone after just saving his life? That didn't seem right, so he finally let the grasshopper go free. Yeah, I would too.
It's snowing. We'll go after this book.
Well, that's what Dinosaur said. After that, Droopus gave up eating grasshoppers and beetles and all other things that hopped or crept or crawled. As much as he disliked as a young dragon, he took to eating grass. That couldn't have been fun. They taste awful, he said after one mouthful, but I'll just have to get used to it. And sure enough, the more grass he ate, the better he liked it. Pretty soon, Droopus found the grass so tasty, he was stuffing it down by the fistful. Kind of like you do your seaweed.
Yeah.
And in a surprisingly short time, the grass-eating dragon grew into a giant monster. A huge, scaly brute with long pointed tail and big feathery bat wings. And that's Droopus. Look how big he grew.
Can I see?
He grew. Look how big he grew. He grew.
Oh, he's getting huge.
Oh my God, he's big.
He's big as a tree.
He sure is. See? Yeah. There's too much of me now, grumbled Droopus. I'm one big overgrown lump with nothing to do but eat and sleep. Then he remembered his wings, and he hadn't been on a flight since he was 4 years old, the day that he was lost in the fog. Flying might be fun for a change, he said, and spreading his wings he sailed through the pines and then went over to the countryside. It was a perfect day for flying, so sunny and clear he could make out every haystack and dot in the field below. He could see cows in the meadow and ducks in the pond, and a cart traveling along a yellow ribbon road just past the farmhouses. Now you see, I would have thought that he forgot how to fly, but I would have been wrong. So there he is flying. He is flying. Farther on, there were more roads and more houses. Great clusters of houses with a castle towering above the rooftops. It was the castle of the king. Oh. And the king was out on the balcony to enjoy the beautiful morning. Great gazookins, he cried when he saw caught sight of Dukas. A dragon! A whopper of a dragon! Why? And the king watched in amazement until the dragon had sailed away to disappear into the high forest of the mountainside. What a marvelous thing it would be, he said, to have that giant dragon's head on the wall of the great hall. Oh no, that don't sound good. Did you hear what he said? wants to put his head on a wall? That don't sound good to me. And the king offered a reward of 100 golden quadruples for the dragon's head, which was a lot of money in those days. That's not good. Oh, there's all the king's men. That same afternoon, every brave knight in the kingdom rode up to the mountainside in search of the giant dragon. Rufus was resting against a tree when the clumpity clump of the horses and hoofs and the clankety clank of the armor reached his ears. Oh, look, he's hiding in a cave.
Caroline, careful.
The two-ton dragon was much too weary from his sightseeing trip to go flying again, so he scurried back into his cave to hide. The knights were looking for a cave with bones scattered about the entrance, but they had all gone all the way into one of them. They would have seen Rufus, but they didn't. After one peek into Rufus' cave, they hurried up to the mountainside, peeking into all the other caves as they went. The knights searched for months, peeking at hundreds of caves, but not one of them had the look of a dragon's cave. So at last they gave up in despair. The dragon's hideout would have remained a mystery if the lamb hadn't gone astray one evening. The lamb had wandered into the pine forest on the mountainside. Before long, a farm boy came looking for her. Hi. The dragon's hideout would have remained a mystery if the lamb hadn't gone astray one evening. The lamb had wandered into the pine forest on the mountainside, and before long a boy came looking for her. Lighting the way with the lantern, the boy followed the lamb's trail. Small bits of wool had caught on the brambles here and there. When he came to the cave, he raised his lantern to peer inside. Oh, little bunnies inside. Look at all the bunnies. Bunnies. Oh, thank you.
Hey, what's this?
I don't know. Looks like a,
I think they like
I
Rufus
don't know. Looks like it
now.
might be a little lamb. I don't know.
He said he thinks they like Doofus now.
It could be.
Hey, that is
Oh, yeah, that's the little lamb he was looking for, yeah.
That's a good prediction, Craig. Let's see if it comes true.
At first, there seemed to be nothing in the cave but rabbits. Then, farther back in the dark, he spied a small white blob. It was the lamb curled up beside a scaly pointed dragon's tail. And moving up to the roof of the cave was the rest of the dragon, sound asleep and snoring. Here, Flossie. Come on, Flossie, the boy called softly, careful not to wake the dragon. The lamb finally raised her head, then hopped to her feet and came trotting out of the cave, and the boy and the lamb went scampering away through the forest. Halfway down the mountain, they met the boy's father, and he was very angry. How many times I must warn you, he growled, to stay out of the woods after dark. But I had to find Flossie, said the boy, and you'd never guess where. She was sleeping in a cave with a dragon. A dragon? Stammered his father. Are you sure? A giant of a dragon? Said the boy.
Don't change it. I want to see it.
Got it?
Is that what's even on the dragon?
Yeah, well, that's just the boy and the lamb right there. The dragon is up there, and the daddy. Why, son, did you know there's a reward for his head? 100 gold quadruples. The king's knights have been searching the mountain for months. If you lead the knights to the cave, I'm sure you will get part of the reward. I can't do that, said the boy. He wouldn't hurt my lamb. Then he must be a good dragon. So I'll never tell anyone where he lives. With nothing to worry about and so little to do, life was getting dull for Rufus. He decided to change the scenery might help. So one day he said goodbye to the cave. He took off on a trip to almost anywhere. However, he picked the very worst day for flying. Before he knew it, Rufus was caught in a storm. And look at all the rain.
And look,
Yeah,
the
His wings are getting all beaten up and everything, right? Okay. He wheeled around to head back to his cave, but it was too late. The fierce wind twisted his neck and his tail and ripped his wings and sent him tumbling backward to the ground. Into the clouds. Into the clouds. Into the clouds, you gotta watch your son. That's it
Careful.
now, so she doesn't do that
Gotta
again.
be careful. Charlotte, move the walker toward Granny's feet.
Try to get that down on the floor so she can step over it. She keeps running through it. Okay, now where was I? The dragon battled the storm until his wings were tattered to shreds. Then he was helpless at a butterfly. He went whirling down out of the clouds to the land with an earth-shaking kerrump far out into a field. Oh, look how beat up he is. No wings, no nothing.
Let me see.
No wings or nothing. He's all beat up, look.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the boy, and it's dad,
Yeah.
and the mother.
It sure is. Look at that house. It's got eyes in the nose. Funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And hair.
Yeah.
Don't hit me.
Rufus was so battered and bruised, he couldn't move. He was one big hurt from the point of his tail to the spikes of his nose. As he lay there sprawled out in the field while the storm was thundering away over the mountains. Then he heard someone shouting, "It's the dragon, the big dragon. I saw him fall." And pretty soon a small boy came running across the field, followed by a man and a woman. It was the same boy who had found his lamb in the dragon's cave.
But I'm just saying.
"It's him, all right," said the boy, after one look at Rufus. "He appears to be dead," said his father. "What a pitiful big thing," said his mother.
Changed.
What?
And then he changed to bat wings.
To bat wings, and then he changed to bat wings.
Yeah, he's all broken up. "But he's not dead," said the boy. "He just blinked an eye." "I can blink an eye," groaned Rufus, "but that's all. I'm just about done for." "Are you going to tell the king?" the boy asked his father, "and collect 100 quadruples?" "You found him, son, so that's for you to decide." "He's a good dragon," said the boy, "and if I took good care of him, he might get well." Rufus was covered with a haystack to keep him from chilling overnight. And every day, the boy brought him bunches of fresh grass and a tub of fresh water. And every day the dragon ate and felt a little bit better. Oh, that was nice.
And he made a big pile so he
Yeah,
can
so they
make
kept
pie.
covering him up and hiding him, yeah. "What makes your father so sad?" asked Rufus one day. "Because we're so poor," said the boy. "And the reason we are poor is because of all of these big rocks. They take up so much room, there's not much land left to grow anything. And we've tried every which way to get rid of them. But with everyone on the farm all pulling and pushing, we can't even budge one of the rocks. That's enough to make anyone sad," sighed Rufus. "Oh, I bet I know what happens next.
But go to
Do you know
on
what?
the other side of the rocks where there's grass.
Do you know what's going to happen now?
No.
I bet I do. I betcha that Rufus is going to feel bad, and he's going to get up, and he's going to move all these rocks for them. What do you think? You think he's going to do that? You think he is? I think so too.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there went the straw. He's out of the straw. Yeah. Early one morning, long before the first rooster crowed, Rufus burst out of the straw stack, feeling as fit as ever and just as good as new, except for his wings. "See? I'm free."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at me go. They were still pretty padded, but they were useless. But the wings didn't matter. After that awful crash landing, Rufus was through with flying. Besides, he had better things to do. Seizing the nearest boulder in his powerful claws, he jerked it off the ground and then carried it away to the far end of the field where he dropped it. Kerblum. Kerblum. "That was easy," said Rufus. The next time he carried 3 rocks, and then 4, and then 5, stacking them all into one pile. When the poor farmer stepped out of his door at the cottage the next morning, his land was half cleared, and he let out a whoop that could be heard for a mile. I told you he was a good dragon, said the boy. He's a great dragon, said the father, tossing his hat in the air. By noontime, Jupiter had piled every rock into one big pyramid. At last, the land was clear, and the happy farmer hitched his donkey to a plow and set out across the field. If that's what you call plowing, said the dragon, I can do that too. Jabbing his pointed tail deep into the ground. Oh, Jupiter was trotting along, leaving a deep furrow, pulling up the weeds and eating them as he went. Sure enough, he's making a hole. He's holding them and making a hole.
Yeah,
Look
so
at
we
that.
can
Wow.
grow food.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
He's like,
Cool.
whoa.
He's a cool dragon, ain't he?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
good
After plowing was done and he helped plant the weeds, he hauled logs from the forest, and using his long jagged tail for a saw, he cut enough firewood in one day to last the whole winter long. When he ran out of things to do, he stood in the wheat field with his great arms outstretched, serving as a very fine scarecrow. He's worth a lot more than 100 quadruples, said the happy farmer.
In the middle.
He's worth 1,000. But the happiest of all was Drupus. At last he had become something useful, not just big lumps of a thing. He no longer worried about the king's knights coming after him. The farm was so far out in the country, hardly anyone knew it was there. The only one to worry about was the old sheep herder, who lived somewhere back in the hills. Once every spring, the man drove his ox cart over the bumpy road that ran past the farm on his way to the village to market his wool. The bad-tempered old fellow could be heard shouting at his oxen long before he passed by the farm. So there was plenty of time for Drupus to slip out of sight behind the barn. See, he's hiding now because this guy. But one spring day, as the ox cart passed by, Drupus was careless and left his long pointed tail sticking out. The old sheep herder knew very well that such a tail could only belong to a dragon. When he reached the village late in the day, the old fellow went straight to the castle to tell the king. Ah, the dirty bird. Shouldn't have did that. Sure enough, here they come. Look at that. The next day, the king and all of his knights came riding up the road to the farm, on their way with their great white horses, armed with their swords and lances. And Drupus knew there was no use hiding. He had heard that they were there or they wouldn't have come. So he stood there in the field while his farmer and his son ran out to meet him. We've come for the dragon, said the king. And here's your reward of 100 golden quadruples. I don't want that reward, said the farmer. The dragon's not for sale.
Do you want me to finish?
I must have his head, said the king. So please stand aside. But he's a good dragon, said the boy. And he's as tame as a kitten. He even sleeps by my bed every night. Look here, boy, growled the king. I've got no time for your tomfoolery.
Get her up.
Oh, I didn't mean all of him, said the boy. Only his head sleeps on my bed. He sticks his neck to the window and the rest of him stays outside. Wow. Yeah. Funny.
Oh, yeah?
Well, now, that's more like it, said the king. In fact, that gives me an idea, a grand idea. I'll borrow your dragon for just such special occasions, and I'll pay you 20 quadruples each time. What do you say to that? Well, it's up to the dragon, said the boy. We'll make it 30 quadruples, said Drupus. Then 30 it is, said the king. What does he want him to do now? For heaven's sake. Drupas made his first visit to the King's Castle on the 8th day of April, the day of the Grand Spring Festival. People came from miles around, crowding into the Great Hall, which was splendidly decked out with banners and streamers and festoons of flowers. High up on the wall was giant dragon's head appeared through an elegant window framed in gold. A happy, smiling dragon's head that brought cries of comfort and equal squeals of delight and sent the crowd into a jolly, frolicsome mood. Soon they were all singing and dancing to the music of trumpets and flutes, and Spring Festival were going full tilt.
Aw. So they kept him alive.
Yeah, they did.
So you're saying
So he must have just had to go to the festival, right? 20 times or 30 times a year? Is that it?
No, he had.
The dragon was so carried away by all the merriment, he suddenly burst into a song with booming, ear-splitting voice that rocked the rafters and drowned out all the trumpets and the flutes. And before he finally caught himself in all the excitement, Drupas the dragon lost his head, but only for a moment. One day, Drupas the dragon got lost in the fog and had to land in a strange... Oh, he did that already. Luckily, he makes friends with a boy who helps him on his farm. Now the dragon is in danger. Can the boy save Drupas? Yes, the boy saves Drupas, doesn't he? He saves him because he's a good Drupas, remember?
Well, you tell Granny for reading you that book.
Thank you for me.
That was a good story.
It was a good
long
story.
one. Granny had a hard time reading it, but it was a long one.
One of your oxygen tubes come out.
I know. I'm huffing and puffing. Trying to finish the story.
That was a cute one, though. I got the whole thing from start to finish on a video. I'll put it on YouTube. Wave to YouTube. Maybe you'll get some fans. Trying to keep this little monster quiet was quite the feat. She's all full of energy. Okay, guys, we gotta go because the snow started.